Hey everyone, Chen here bringing you guys the long-awaited Akshan Ultimate Itemization Guide. We are going to go over what I believe is the best Akshan build that you guys need to know, and just hopefully you guys can be able to build properly. Now keep in mind, these videos are always a little skeptical to make because as patches change, build change, stuff like that. But as of currently, this build has been staple for basically the large majority of these the current item change, so they would have to change something drastic for this video to be completely outdated. Without further ado, we're going to get straight into the video. Before we start though, please smash the like button. It really allows me to create better content for you guys, and leave a comment down below what future videos you guys would like me to make. Alright, here we go. I made an item set here because client has been crashing over 10 times while I try to make this live time, so I just made the item set. Here is the item set. Here we go. We are going to start with these starting items. Starting item hasn't changed for Akshan, to no one's surprise, okay? Longsword is going to be your bread and butter starting item if you want the maximum amount of aggressiveness. And then Doran's Blade is going to be your item when you want HP. So think about mid lane. Doran's Blade is going to outvalue Longsword and Assassin matchups. You might be like, oh, but 80 health doesn't really affect much during your first part of laning phase. You are right, but it affects your second, it affects your third, it affects the entirety of laning phase. That's what people don't understand about Doran's Blade. You are getting 80 HP every single time you are resetting. That is very invaluable in a lot of assassin matchups where if even you don't have that 80 HP, they might be able to kill you. So Doran's Blade is a no-brainer for assassin matchups. And then Cole is going to be the greedy matchups where misconception of people building Cole is they don't want to fight aggressive early. That's not true. This still packs a punch because of 7 AD and also just attacks restoring health on hit. It gives you a lot of sustain. You can still play Cole very aggressively, but just know that Cole is your greediest start. If you fall behind on Cole, you're going to feel very bad in a lot of matchups. So I generally go Cole into matchups like Veigar, where I can't really fall behind because Veigar can't punish me. Lux, stuff like that. And then obviously tank matchups, right? If you're playing Akshan top. Moving on to your boots option, to no one's surprise, you only want to go these two options. Now, I do want to preface that I should have mentioned earlier, this whole entire video is my personal opinion. It's what me as a top tier Akshan player in North America, one who got Challenger playing Akshans, these are all my opinions. Now, obviously, they're through playtesting. I play League every day. I play Akshan on stream every single day. So they're through my playtesting and they're through my understanding of the playstyle and stuff like that. So I'm not including random BS like Stridebreaker Akshan, Storm Razor, stuff like that. You're going to realize through this video, it's literally what I perceive as the best, and it's what I perceive you guys to be able to replicate the best. If you are fucking Indexy, Challenger Korea, you can build whatever the hell you want. You don't have to watch this video, right? But in my opinion, people who are watching this video generally want a good idea or either learning Akshan or low elo, low MMR, stuff like that. So this video is catered towards you guys. Not to say that, hey, if you're high elo, let's say Masters, you still want to know what the best build is. This is still going to be very replicable for you. But if you're literally the top tier best Akshan, you don't need to follow this, right? You can build whatever the hell you want. You can build AP Akshan for all I care. But moving on, boots. Very self-explanatory, play to steel caps or Mercury Cheds. If they have a lot of CC, go Mercury Cheds. If they have a lot of auto attackers, go play to steel caps, right? Berserker Greaves is not viable in Akshan anymore. You don't need it, I promise. I've ran tests and it's just completely garbage. So these are your only two viable boots. Starting off with your core items, right? There are 3 builds that are going to be displayed in this video, and they are what I perceive to be the best and most replicable. Regular crit is your standard, going to be 100% crit. You are going to have Kraken, you are going to have Collector, and you are going to have Infinity Edge. Now, when going Collector, now unfortunately the client is completely bugged, but you do tend to opt into Serrated Dirk before you go into Kraken because it gives you a stronger early game power spike, which helps you basically purchase this very expensive build, right? So keep that in mind. Now, where does this change? If they have, let's say, a Galio and you want to go a full crit, don't do it because he's generally tanky. Anyone who builds plated steel caps, in terms of a matchup, don't go Serrated Dirk. Go straight for Kraken, Collector, i.e. if you want to go regular crit, okay? Now is the Alter Crit, which in my personal opinion is the best Akshan, like, consistent build. You can run this build literally every single game and you will see results. If you don't want to like overthink how you want to itemize. Keep in mind the item change that Riot introduced with, you know, the mythics, Kraken not being a mythic, IE being a mythic, that change basically brought about a lot of Akshan variety. But if you hate variety and you want to go one build every single game, this is going to be your build. It's going to be Kraken Slayer, it's going to be Bork, and it's going to be IE. This plays literally the same as regular crit. It spikes the same pretty much. It's a little bit more expensive, but it spikes the same. Once you hit Kraken Collector versus Kraken Borg, you're strong no matter what. Like, the damage is pretty replicable. It's pretty comparable, stuff like that. So the thing about this build though is it allows you to deal with tanks a lot better because you are slotting in Borg. So that is why this is going to be your more consistent build. But if they have 5 squishies, for example, this build is perfectly fine as well. And the last item, or build rather, is going to be your standard on hit. I personally enjoy this version, but I do know on hit is the most flexible build of all. So you can easily not build Kraken. You can easily not build Borg. Right? You can go Kraken Gwynsus. You can go Bork Gwynsus. You can do whatever you want. It is super flexible, but at the end of the day, it's on hit, right? You're just trying to be a pseudo ADC, even though obviously Akshan is not the greatest at that, and then you do quite a bit of consistent damage. So my personal best on hit, in my opinion, is going to be Kraken Bork Gwynsus. That's what personally feels the best for me. It gives you a lot of killing power, it gives you a lot of tank power, tank killing power, stuff like that. Cool. Now we're going to move on to situation items. Now, I do want to preface, this is technically in order, basically. I can maybe move this like here. This is technically in order of how much I build them each game. So Wit's End is going to be your most common situational item that you build after your core, right? If they have 2 to 3 AP, Wit's End is a no-brainer. It's a super strong item, stuff like that. Then Bloodthirster is going to be... Honestly, these two might be interchangeable. I might build Bloodthirster more than Wit's End because this item is so strong after you build your core. While above 50% HP, you gain additional attack damage, which works for both builds. Generally, it's much better with this build, and you're going to see in a minute when I do my full builds. It is super, super strong, gives you a lot of damage, and it gives you a decent amount of survivability. The 18% lifesteal, while you're swinging, you're going to heal up quite a bit, so it's decent amount of sustain as well. Now, Mortar Reminder, LDR, if they have 1 to 2 lifesteal champions, let's say Riven, let's say Swain, Mortar Reminder is always going to outvalue LDR. That is the beauty of this change. When they added 30% armor pen to Mortar Reminder, it is almost always better than LDR unless they have like 2 to 3 tanks. And then LDR is going to outvalue in that sense. RFC, although it's completely gutted, it is still one of the best Akshan items in the game just because of how it synergizes. So go RFC as your final item, generally speaking. Guardian Angel is your only defensive item that you ever want to build. If they have a bunch of assassins and you feel as if they're targeting you and someone else can carry, you can buy time, go Guardian Angel. Phantom Dancer is going to be a good item for on hits. I think it's personally one of the most underrated Akshan items. It is super strong, gives you a lot of kiting potential, and really good stats overall. And then Maul of Malmortius is only when they have, like, let's say 4 AP. You already have Wit's End, you want Maul. Boom. Perfect. Now we're going to move on to the full build. So I gave and basically built the example. This is generally speaking what I build every single game when I decide to go which build, right? It's going to be Kraken Slayer, whatever boots you need, Collector, IE, Bork, or not Bork, Bloodthirster, and 2 RFC. That is your standard crit build. Obviously, once again, these are called situation items for a reason. If you need magic resist, you slot a magic resist somewhere. If you need anti-heal, you guys get the point. But these are just full build examples, generally speaking, what I build majority of the time. Cool. The Alter Crit build is going to look literally exactly the same. It is a carbon copy, you just slot in Borg. And then your on-hit full build is going to be the core on-hit plus Wit's End. Doesn't matter who they have. If they have full AD, you still go Wit's End. And then you can go Phantom Dancer, you can go RFC, you can go Guardian Angel, stuff like that. Cool. Now, for this guide, I'm actually going to showcase you guys my op.gg and explain why I go what. So here we go. All right, guys, we have landed on my op.gg. Ignore my win rate. I am getting unfortunate early season type luck, but it's perfectly fine. We're only here to look at my auction build and why I build specific things. So obviously, a lot of these games are not going to reach late game, and we literally don't have to look at anything except for their team comp and why did I build what. So let's start off here. Why did I build full crit? Pretty self-explanatory. They're all basically squishy, and they're not really incentivized to build plated steel caps, right? For example, if Kane wins red Kane, if he took Conquer, instantly I would swap and choose Bork over Collector, and I would go the altered crit build, okay? But basically, they're all squishy. Easy, right? Next, why did I go altered? I believe, yes, I'm going altered build here. I didn't reach the point, but why did I go altered build here? Because they have Jax, they have Diana, which could go tanky. Now, you can't really know until they start actually building it. She could easily go Nashor's Hextech Rocket Belt, but it's still the possibility. And then they have a Rakan, who's also going to be fairly tanky. These are like semi-bruiser-esque champions. Instantly already know to go the altered crit build. Next, this game, they have Irelia, which is a bruiser, and they have Silas support, which might build some tanky items like Everfrost, Rod of Ages, stuff like that. You don't really know. But in this game, both are actually fine. I could go the regular crit build with Collector, or I could go the altered build. Both are actually fine in this example. I just chose to go for Bork. I believe it's because I was against Tristana, and getting an early power spike on her mattered a lot more, aka getting my Kraken as opposed to getting serrated and delaying Kraken would have been a lot better because Kraken is a lot more effective against Tristana matchup. Next up, why did I go full on hit here? Let's see. They have, so this is actually a weird example, but they have Tryndamere, which I want to kite around, right? You can never burst Tryndamere, but you can have a lot of attack speed and auto run with his passive. So on hit was already more incentivized because you can never burst him with IE, right? But let's look. They have an Irelia, they have a Swain, they have a Rakan, and then obviously Tryndamere. So instantly they have 4 pseudo champions that are generally harder to burst if I went IE, for example. So that is why I went this. We'll just do like, let's do like 2 or 3 more. This game, I'm going for the altered crit build. Let's see why. They have a bruiser, they have a bruiser, they have a bruiser, and then, oh, I actually remember, this game, I think I should have gone unhit. So this, like, you're going to make mistakes with what you want to build. Obviously, it worked fine for the most part. Like, I still performed this game, but this game makes a lot more sense to go on hit, go Guinsoo's. I think in this example, game's kind of lost regardless, but either way, I could go either or, right? There's not necessarily one is better than the other. It's just all situational, all kind of what you prefer. We'll do 2 more. All right, so this one, I am going the altered crit build. Let's see, 1 bruiser and then 2. Okay, so immediately going collector, I'm going to have less value because these guys are generally going to be pretty darn tanky. And then let's do 1 more. Drop the 16 kill here. This game, I went with the altered build. Why? 1 tank, potentially 2 tank, and then that's it. Once again, 2 tanks, I go altered. 1 or 0 tanks, I go crits, and then 3 or 4 tank bruisers, I go the on hit. There you guys have it though. The ultimate auction guide. Hopefully you guys found this video useful. Once again, I am not touching on random builds that you can go. First and foremost, Gale Force is completely gutted. Don't even think about going Gale Force. But I do know Endexy is going like Stridebreaker stuff. I'm not touching it because Endexy can genuinely build whatever he wants, right? But for you guys to go for an itemization guide, I genuinely believe these are the top 3 builds. And hopefully in this video, I explained a really good job on how you want to utilize it, where in what situation you want to build it, stuff like that. That is it for the video. If you enjoyed, make sure to smash the like button. Thank you all so much for watching. Hope you have a great rest of your day. Chen out.